Dinner and a Book is supported by the Rex and Alice A. Martin Foundation of Elkhart, celebrating the spirit of Alice Martin and her love of good food and good friends.
Helen Rebanks is a first-time author whose book, The Farmer's Wife, My Life in Days, paints a detailed portrait of the joys and hardships of running a small family farm in the English Lake District. I'm so happy to be sharing the kitchen with local small-scale family farmer Jody Klinedinst of Oh Mama's Cheese Shop and Deli to talk about this book and a life she understands so well. Welcome, Jody.
Thanks for having me, April.
So you have met the author. Tell us a little bit about how you know Helen Rebanks.
I have met Helen. My family and I were privileged to visit her and her family in the Lake District at their home. When we arrived, they were moving the sheep, and right when we turned on the road, they were running toward us, and it was an introduction to their family farm.
Oh, that's a great introduction to the book as well. So when I read this book, I immediately thought, I got to do this show with you, and you have this great idea of doing a picnic that you could do for your family for a lakeside, fireside, depending on the season. So we'll talk about what we're making for the picnic, and then we'll talk about what we're getting started with. So what will you be contributing to the picnic?
That sounds good. So I am contributing a farmhouse frittata as well as a fresh raspberry jam.
Okay, wonderful. And then you'll be making some sausage, English sausage rolls later.
Yes, definitely inspired by the English countryside. We ate a lot of sausage rolls during that trip.
All right, so that's great. And I'm going to be making shortbread 3 ways. So starting with some cheddar cheese coins, and then I'll be making some lavender shortbread and some cherry pistachio. We'll have some warmed olives, sort of herbed olives. And then a fennel salad from Edible Michiana that will be part of our whole picnic together, plus some cheeses that we'll talk about. So tell me what you're getting started here with the frittata, which is kind of an open recipe, right?
It is an open recipe, a lot of different interpretations on this. The farmhouse frittata that we're doing today is farm fresh eggs. We've got some nice cream that we're adding in.
These are literally farm fresh, right?
They are literally farm. Yeah, so Third Day Farm. They're not too far from where we live in Walkerton. And I just picked these up the other day.
All right, that looks fantastic.
Yes.
And I'm getting started here with some shredded cheddar. This is a Barkley cheddar from J2K, so I had not known about what Barkley means.
So Barkley
Besides
means
tasty.
a couple of things, and it is an English cheddar-inspired cheese made from raw cow's milk, and again from our farm in Walkerton. Barkley means rindless because it doesn't have that natural earthy rind that a lot of our cheeses have from the cave, but it also is an English term that means good things to come. And so it seemed like the fitting name for our new cheese.
I love that, and it's like sharp and crystally wonderful. So
and
that's
a little
going in,
salty. Yes.
Yes, wonderful. So I'm putting that in a Cuisinart here with a little bit of flour and salt and paprika and cayenne, and this makes a pretty simple shortbread dough here, along with some butter. And I'm going to pulse this and then turn it into a log that you can either fridge for a little while and cut into coins or freeze so that you've got it handy whenever you like. So I'm going to get this started, and you're...
So what I am adding it to, of course, is this omelet / quiche, if you will, though crustless. I'm not adding any additional salt because, as I mentioned, the cheese itself is salty. We have the cream in there. One of my favorite add-ins is day-old pasta.
I was astounded by this in a frittata.
It adds a little volume and texture to the dish, but it's just one of those things. Any add-in works with this. So whatever you have in your refrigerator, it's a great way to use it up.
So that is one of the themes of the book, is making use of everything on the farm, making use of everything in your refrigerator. And the subtitle of her book is My Life in Days, and I do think it's not a high-level book. She really purposely wants us to understand the texture of daily life, especially for a woman and especially for a mother. And so the recipes that are in the book sort of interspersed throughout, and at the end are not kind of highfalutin recipes.
Right.
Maybe we could talk about that a little bit. What kinds of
So
food she
she's
invites us.
using what is readily available, what is in season, that'll be super nutritious for her family, flavorful, and sustainable.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So, and I wondered as I was reading it how well you thought she captured kind of the daily moment to moment of running a family farm.
So I thought she was really brilliant. A lot of what she talks about just seems kind of like Monday, day-to-day things,
Yes.
but that is the glue that holds a family together, a business together. Without that role, none of it's going to happen, but it's not always the recognized role.
Yeah, one of the points she makes is actually you just have to believe that this dough is going to come together. I believe in you, dough. She talks about how undervalued lots of those tasks are. Not the big meal that company is over for, but figuring out what am I going to make for breakfast, or I have 3 kids and the baby is just starting solid foods. What am I going to make? So did that resonate with you in terms of trying to balance a family life? And
I've gotten really fluid in my kitchen, right? So that requires maybe a little less planning, but it's better for us overall. Real quick, what I've done is
Yes,
saute
good.
just a little bit of onion and garlic, and then I'm going to go ahead, and you could add whatever vegetables, all kinds of
Wow.
different things could go into that
it
part.
smells fantastic.
And you should saute them a little bit just to soften them before you add the egg mixture.
Okay.
So we're just going to let this kind of set up a little bit. And while
then-
we do that, I have great respect for her. So it's not easy, but it's very fulfilling and rewarding. And, your ego kind of takes a blow a little bit to begin with. And there's a lot to do with your own self-confidence and the way maybe you see things into the future.
Yeah, I think she's pretty unabashed about the mixed emotions of running a farm life. I'm going to see if I can get this to hold together a little bit. This is, I think I might run this a little bit longer, but this will, just for the sake of time, I want to show you what it looks like when you roll it into a log. But you can press that into a log and then cut it for a cookie sheet. So I'm going to show how that is done, and then you've got to chill it for a little while. And then, if you like, you can cut just enough of these for, a few cheddar coins to have
Yes.
alongside for your picnic. I've got a little roll here, and I'll just show you. You can, you make a little sawing motion. I'll make a couple of these here.
And what I'm watching here is to see that this is kind of setting up on the edge, and it usually bubbles a little, and then we'll put it in the oven to finish it.
Okay. Oh, it just smells
It does
fantastic.
smell
And what are the
delicious,
herbs
doesn't
that
it?
you put in
I
there?
did use a little fresh sage from my own garden, and then at the beginning we just did a little of the garlic and onion.
Okay, boy.
But any vegetable would be lovely in there, and all kinds of different cheeses, and of course it could have meat, and ours had the pasta, which
So a great way to use up leftovers. Sometimes
yes.
if you've just got a cup of something and a quarter cup of something else, you can fold
Yeah.
it into something bigger.
And even as things are not turning out exactly as we may have planned, our family loves us and appreciates that we made this for them.
Yes, what a nice thing to say. I still believe in this shortbread. So I'll show you. I'm making
Those
some
are
little
beautiful.
rounds of from a neighbor's recipe. It's pistachio and it's got dried cherries from Michigan, and then a little bit of lavender. So you can see I'm just going to do a few of these. You cook them at 350 for about 13 minutes. And culinary lavender, very English, I would say. And these can be made really kind of fancy with a little fun edge here of finishing sugar.
Mine's taking a moment longer as well, so I think
Boy,
I'm
it
going to
smells
start with
fantastic.
just a fresh raspberry jam that we
good,
can
yeah.
have with the sausage rolls later. And this is fruit from Jan, and she's Sunny Acres. I love to visit her. The kids and I have been visiting her for years, and she picked these and made them available a couple of days ago. But now they're ripening beyond just being maybe table worthy.
So that's a great way to save everything, make
Yes.
a quick little sauce. I'll put these in the oven now, actually. We'll get those timed. And then while those are baking, we're going to take a little break. We'll put the frittata in the oven, and you'll have a chance to look at some of the really sweet illustrations in the book that capture the fine grain life that Helen Rebanks is living. We'll be right back. I'm here with Jody Klinedinst as we're making a picnic inspired by Helen Rebanks' The Farmer's Wife, My Life in Days. And tell us what you're contributing to the picnic now, a very British sandwich, I believe.
So we are going to put together some sausage rolls, and we have a little puff pastry here that will roll out a little bit thinner, and then we'll bake it for about 20 minutes. So we have some farm fresh sausage as well as a little bit of freshly ground sausage from Bob's Country Store in North Liberty. I picked that up on the way here today. And then just some different herbs, spices, of course mustard that will give this a lot of flavor, and also a great texture.
All right, and we're gazing on the beauty of your frittata, which came out of the oven and smells absolutely divine, and the beautiful raspberry jam there. And I've got a little mélange of olives here. Olives are delicious, but if you want to zhuzh them a little bit, getting some really nice olives with pits in them. This is a nice mix from the cheese shop, actually, that I'm added a little olive oil to, some from my garden, some fresh thyme, and a little bit of fennel, which is a very nice Italian sort of flavoring, and then a couple big peels of orange. And sort of like your frittata, this isn't a scientific recipe. It's whatever
It sounds delicious.
good. I'm going to put this in here, and we'll let that stir around a little bit. Again, I put in a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of extra spice, and we'll just let that warm a little bit for the second part of.
So I'm kind of elongating this sausage onto the puff pastry, and we're going to fold it in a minute. It's almost like a meatball, if you will. So a little water can come in handy. I'm wearing the gloves today, but it's very easy. So we're going to do 3 of these. Then we're going to fold it, and then we're going to cut them.
All right, that looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
super
and then puff
easy.
pastry is something that you can make a lot of different things with, and this will be new to look at, for me at least. So when I'm doing using the mandolin here to make the base, the onion base of a fennel bulb salad that's got mint and mozzarella from Edible Michiana. So I'll return to that in a second, but I wanted to just read a few lines from the end of the book, where I think she really pulls together what it is she wants to accomplish in this book. Because James Rebanks, her spouse, they're very much partners. We've talked about a couple of his books here on the show, A Shepherd's Life and English Pastoral. she brings a different lens to that partnership. And she says, I know lots of brilliant people, but there's always a team of hidden, hardworking souls around them, making it all possible. I know that the small domestic things matter. They always have. My mom taught me that. Learning that the word mundane has its roots in the Latin word mundanus, of the world, made me see everything through a different lens. To me, caring for my family is and always has been the most important work in the world. So it's through that lens that she reminds us of, and she actually quotes George Eliot to Middlemarch at the very beginning. It's all of the sort of behind the scenes things that make so much of this possible. I'm going to grab a little spoon here and stir this. So you had a chance to visit the farm there, and maybe you could talk a little bit about what that time was like, just seeing the similarities maybe in your own experience of a family farm.
So Helen's book was an excellent choice because it does parallel my life pretty well, except that, of course, she's 4,000 miles away and has sheep versus goats. But the children, working alongside her husband, her own aspirations, but also, you know, holding the family together, so to speak.
Yeah, the small business is tricky for anyone, and I think she really shows how much depends on the weather, how much depends on sickness. There's a lot to keep track of. So I'm going to be wrestling with this almost looks like an alien, doesn't it? Hello, Jody, here's my fennel. So fennel bulb, an underappreciated root, I would say. Maybe that's a good parallel to the book. Nice light licorice flavor, super crisp, almost if licorice married celery, this is what you'd get. So I'm just going to show you how to wrestle with this a little bit. I've cut a few of the fronds off the top, which are going to be part of the salad, and then I'll show you how to. Oh, this is smelling absolutely delicious.
I'm getting close over here as well. So now I'm just kind of
beautiful.
brushing on this wash that actually has a little bit of the cream in it again with the farm fresh egg. And then we're going to dress that with sesame seed and sea salt.
Okay, that looks fantastic.
And for some of the reasons I mentioned in the first part, because there's salt in the flavored sausage and also with the sesame seed, I omitted adding salt.
So a good reminder that these recipes, you got to know your ingredients, and the ingredients differ.
Yes.
So, and maybe can you tell us a little bit about the beautiful cheeses that are coming to room temperature here? And
yes.
I just taken the tough core here out of the fennel, and I'm going to
So under the cloche, we have the king of English cheeses, Stilton, and that's the blue cheese. Pasteurized cow's milk, lovely. Then we have a small piece of what's called Tintern. It's an English cheddar with shallots and chive, and it's something that could have easily been added to this sausage mixture to elevate a little bit, but we'll have a bite of that.
Oh, these are so cute.
On the side, yep. So these I'm just cutting, I've seen them half this size, I've seen them a little bit longer than this. There's no wrong choice. It's probably based how many people you're trying to serve, though you could freeze something like this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the last cheese on the plate is the Barkley, and we used that 2 ways in the first segment, and that is one of our cheeses from J2K. So for us, we do goats, goat milk, cheeses, and then we do some other animals. For Helen, it's more sheep. They're doing breeding stock, of course, meat and fiber.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when we went there, we could see a lot of that work being done, and it's a daily thing, all day, every day.
Yes.
And I think she talks a little bit about I wouldn't call it a struggle, but yet the time that is allotted to the animals, and then of course the family, and then her husband, and then herself's in there somewhere too.
It is really a challenge, and she takes us through some of the, I would say, the early years that are particularly challenging. They're trying to find to make their home, to rehab this very beautiful old stone farmhouse. But it should be said, they are really successful now. They've become, both of them, very public voices advocating for family farmers, small family farmers. They're rewilding portions of the land that had been neglected. So they're public educators, a lot like you.
I think they're dialing it back a little bit to an earlier time and their youth.
Their land,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm
nice.
going to pop this in the oven. It's going in at 400 for about 20 minutes, but you'll want the pastry to be golden brown. It's a nice indication.
Is always so festive. Love it. So, and I'm making a dressing here out of lemon and capers and olives, a little bit of salt, a little bit of olive oil here, and then I'm going to layer the freshly shaved fennel with some oranges and torn mozzarella and pour the dressing over it. It is going to be beautiful.
It is going to be beautiful. It smells beautiful. Yeah. When I think about Helen and some of the similarities with my own farm and family life, it would definitely be the amount of work that's involved.
Yes.
And sometimes that might be something you complain about, but many times it's something you take pride in. And at the same time, you're always still looking to the future. So as you're saying you're doing all of these things, you're still planning the next great project or adventure.
Yeah, yeah.
And much the same, we are trying to be very sustainable too. So a lot of things we did here today, it's things that are readily available in season, not letting anything go to waste, reimagining it in other ways. And of course, I would love to meet them in Australia to talk about small-scale farming.
Yes, note to self. So, so as I put this, I'm going to finish putting this together, and we're going to take a little break here, and you'll have a chance to see some beautiful photographs of Helen's family, the gorgeous countryside where they live, and some of the realities of farm life. We'll be right back. Jody and I have made a fabulous picnic suitable for fireside or lakeside. Why don't you tell us what you've made here, which smells fantastic?
Thank you, April. So we have this wonderful farmhouse frittata. We have the English-style sausage rolls, a fresh raspberry jam,
beautiful,
and this toast that's coming up with an elderberry lemonade, spritz, and some sparkling lemon water.
Gorgeous. And tell us about the cheeses here.
How can I forget about the cheese? So we have this plate here with 2 English cheeses and 1 American English-inspired cheese from J2K Capraio, so a cheddar style, the blue Stilton, and then this lovely condiment cheddar here.
So we can have a sophisticated ending to the meal there, along with shortbread 3 ways, 1 savory, 2 sweet, some marinated olives, which will go great with the cheese, and a beautiful fennel, orange, and torn mozzarella salad to go with it. So what do you think Helen gets right about small farm life in this book?
I think Helen gets right expressing the day-to-day in and out of what it's like to live on a farm that seems like a kind of minute thing, but what holds the fabric of it all together. It's a wonderful read. Anyone that lives on a farm, actually whether you do or don't, but people that live on a farm would truly understand where she's coming from and relate, and even people that do not, obviously.
There's
it's interesting.
So much to learn. Absolutely
their
compelling
families,
and inspiring.
very compelling.
So I think we should have a toast to Helen Rebanks' book, the farmer's wife, My Life in Days, to you, Jody Klinedinst, for joining me.
Thank you, April.
And to all of you for joining us for Dinner and a Book. We hope we'll see you next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
This WNIT local production has been made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
Dinner and a Book is supported by the Rex and Alice A. Martin Foundation of Elkhart, celebrating the spirit of Alice Martin and her love of good food and good friends.